Well, education is a fundamental human right. However, today Afghanistan stands out as tragically as the only country in the world where secondary and higher education is strictly forbidden to girls and women. Over 2 million adolescent girls have been banned from attending secondary school, severely limiting their future opportunities and indeed the country's development. They're not allowed into parks or gyms either. Indeed, women's rights are more or less non-existent since the Taliban retook control. Today, as UNESCO publishes its Global Education Monitoring Report, we're looking at the situation in Afghanistan. And to bring us her insight, we can speak now to Afghan author and human rights activist, a refugee herself here in Paris, Mursal Sayas. Thanks so much for your time and bringing us your insight. If we can start simply with the education in Iran, if you can bring us that global picture. I mean, little girls are allowed to go to school, but as soon as they become teenagers, it all suddenly stops.
Morning. Thank you so much for paying attention to this issue. I am sure you mean Afghanistan. We are in 21st century, and Afghanistan remains the only country in the world that the girls are banned from going school, attending secondary and higher education schools and education. So this is so sad. This is frustrating. It means behind these 2 million children that you mentioned, there are stories, there are futures, and just imagine it has been 5 years. Women and girls are banned from so many activities, especially from schools and educations. In these 5 years, a 15 years old girl, now she is 20, and she lost 5 years for nothing. They could be, for now, they could be graduated from university, even though. So I think this is a shame, and this is a huge catastrophe in the world. We don't have any other example of countries in the world as Afghanistan today. So yeah, that's true. The girls and women are banned from school, from education, from work, from expressing themselves. Just the girls after 12 years old, they have nothing in front of them for that day. They just have to stay at home and cook and clean. I have my cousins and I have my friends, children in Afghanistan. They are so disappointed when we talk with them, and if they're 13 years old or 12 years old, they just don't have anything to do, and they're waiting for the day the schools open. And this is what we call it in France, rentrée scolarité. In Afghanistan, it starts these days. Now it's the third day that schools are started. They just watch their brothers go to school, and their neighbors, the men and the boys, they go to school, and they just watch them disappointedly. This is what they're facing right now.
And you mentioned there, Marcel, that women are also not allowed to work. I mean, are there female doctors, nurses, teachers? I mean, where are all the women? And then how does society function if all the women are made to stay at home?
Well, the society doesn't function the way that we see it right now. Afghanistan, it's not functioning. It's just function for the interest of the Taliban and the people who supports the Taliban. Women are not allowed to work. Women are not allowed to go outside of their homes, and it's different from village to the village, to cities to the cities, and from different authorities to the different authorities. It is different the way they treat women in the and outside and even inside. This new law they just issued, it bans the women even from talking out loud, and they criminalized the actions even the women don't know. I'm so sorry, I have a cold today. So yeah, they criminalize the very simple actions the women do. The female doctors and the female nurses, few of them still can work, while the education, having a medical education, is banned for women. Even they cannot become midwives, and they cannot serve as a midwife. But those who still are continuing support with a lot of restriction, with a lot of limitation, they have to be accompanied with their chaperone, with a man, and go to the work. And if they don't, and the restriction of wearing, if they are wearing the clothes that the Taliban think that's not proper, they could be punished, they could be sent back home, they could be banned to work even there, and a lot of insult and violence they are facing.
It sounds such extreme levels of really women not being allowed to exist in many levels at all. They're trapped in their homes. And what are men doing?
Well, the men's situation is not also as good. It's not a heaven for men. So it's hard for everyone. Just imagine a father or a brother that their children are at home and couldn't even go outside or have access to education, or just their wives are at home, and even the women who are the head of the families and they don't have any future, and those men who belong to them, of course it's frustrating and sad for everyone. And the men can be punished for what they wear as well, for what they think, for what they do, and for even for being nice with women, they can be punished. Meanwhile, the law gave them a lot of power to punish the women. This new law they issued gave the men the power to punish women. Before they were flagging, for example, the flagging for the women was by the Taliban regime, and now they gave this power to the men. And well, that is not, we see not so many men are protesting against this, or not so against it, but still, it's Afghanistan is not a haven for the men.
Okay. I also believe that, the internet, not only are people women in particular, not being allowed into schools, gyms, anywhere really public unless they're covered and accompanied, as you were saying, even for treatment, I believe, in medical situations, but also even in their own homes, they're being increasingly cut off with the internet and all that, and even telephones being removed.
Exactly. Today, when the women, anyone in Afghanistan, they have to, if they want to have a SIM card, they have to register it. Like any kind of SIM card, they have to register it, which means the Taliban have access to any kind of information, any kind of the contact that people have outside. Even though it's not just about the telephone, they installed cameras on every door in Afghanistan, especially in Kabul and some places that they think they will be against the Taliban more than the other places. So they installed camera on every door. They asked the people to buy the cameras, to pay for the electricity, to pay for the internet expenses, which is so high in Afghanistan, and to be surveillance by the Taliban, which is funny and which is sad at the same time. And yeah, especially even if sometimes we see here people are so much promoting the secret schools, the schools through internet, online. What I believe is the children, they are belong to school. They have to go to school. They should go to school, sit in their classes and enjoy and play and laugh and study. It's not just learning from internet. So first of all, we don't have that much good internet in Afghanistan. We don't have electricity, and it's the Taliban. If they want, they can ban. They can also they filter today the internet. They have filtered so many applications. They have filtered so many words even. So we cannot pronounce them, and they can be cut off by the aid of Chinese government. So yeah, everything is surveillance there, and Taliban have access to any kind of information of the people. So people know their life have been watched all the time.
Now, you yourself, you fled Afghanistan in 2021 when the Taliban retook power. I mean, how hard is that? I know so many had to do the same.
Well, yeah, I left in the evacuation process on August 2021, and today it is getting every day more dangerous and more harder for the people who want to leave the country. And there are so many people who want to leave the country under the Taliban, under those violence is not a country to live. People are disappointed. They don't see any future for themselves and for their children, for the next generation. So if they want their children go to school, if they want to breathe outside of home, they want to leave, and it's getting harder for everyone. And every day I receive messages from women, from men, from from teenagers. They are asking, do you know any scholarship if I can apply? Do you know if there is any organization who can support women and girls? So the journalists, and it's super hard for the journalists, for the media to be independent. First of all, they cannot be independent, but with that, even the women who cannot attend and their voices are cut off during the conferences, the press conferences. So yeah, that's the life there. People are disappointed with the situation, but of course they're trying to resist in different ways.
And Mursal, very quickly before we leave you, but I know you are an activist for human rights. I mean, is there anybody working with you? I know you've been advocating to get rights for people in Afghanistan. What kind of help is the international community providing?
Exactly. There are so many, there are activists inside Afghanistan who are resisting against the Taliban, especially women movements, feminist movements after 2021 to now. And diaspora, the Afghanistan diaspora outside, they are advocating very actively in different levels, in United Nations and in European Parliament level. In so many different levels, they are trying to keep the Afghanistan issue alive among all these other crises who are going on in the world. world, which is so also sad and catastrophic. And for now, the international community responses were at least not that bad that we expected. So, for example, the accountability mechanism, the ICC and ICG decision, and the People Tribunal in Spain, these are the things, gender apartheid campaign, these are the steps we can count on for
Try
now.
and put some pressure. Okay, Mursal Sayas, thanks so much for your time and joining us here on France 24. Very much appreciated.